This is the Saturday Morning Serial Podcast with your host, Amanda Ann. Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to Saturday Morning Serial Podcast. I'm Amanda Ann, and apologize for the slight delay in this episode being posted. I was spending time with some family this weekend, but I'm going to talk about this crazy ride of a musical movie called Annette that just got released on Amazon Prime this past Friday, and you can stream it. And it stars Adam Driver, one of my favorite actors of right now, and Marion Cotillard with director Now, guys, you know I'm really bad with names, so I'm probably mispronouncing this. Leos Carax. What is interesting about the origin of the story is that the music was intended to be a story on a rock album by a band called The Sparks, who I've never heard of, but I'm definitely going to check out. And the director of this movie took immediate liking to the music, and that is how this film was born. So I actually follow Adam Driver's acting career. I'm a really big fan of how he just portrays characters and just how much of like his soul he throws into his acting. So earlier this year, this movie called Annette was announced. The trailer dropped, and I was very interested in it because it looked weird. And I do love weird, obscure movies, and I'm like, okay, this looks like right up my alley. So I watched it, and let me just say, this was one of the strangest movies I have seen yet. And I've seen a great many weird ones. But first and foremost, it is a musical, and I love musicals. I was a theater nerd in high school, and I was very excited to hear that this was going to be a musical. And I was like, Adam Driver in a musical? Now this is going to be weird. But right at the start of the film, it feels very Broadway, where the actors are almost breaking the fourth wall in a way by greeting the audience or the viewer. Judging from the trailer, like I said, I knew this was going to be almost a dark and different kind of movie, which was like twisted and, you know, almost like kind of a supernatural type of way. So right at the beginning, I didn't let the light tone of the first song fool me at all. I really enjoyed Adam Driver's work. Like I said, he is in Girls. I know him. Everyone knows him as Kylo Ren in the Star Wars franchise. I also like this one movie he's in with Tina Fey, This Is Where I Leave You. I feel like that's one of his best works. And he has done many SNL sketches, and those are the best. I swear, please go watch them. And Adam has this great range when it comes to acting, and he's best known for his angry outbursts. And that actually originated in the series Girls, where he plays boyfriend and he's angry all the time and he hits things and just yells. And that's actually how he got the role of Kylo Ren. So check that out if you haven't seen it and you're a big Adam Driver fan. I highly recommend that show. But he plays a character named Henry, and Henry is a famous comedian, but he has a weird sense of dry humor. He can be really silly and hilarious in like a serious way. He doesn't have to be smiling or laughing or anything like that to be funny. Adam Driver can be really silly and hilarious, like I said, as proven in SNL. And him playing this comedian, I kind of was expecting him to be like goofy and just take on like a crazy, funny type of character like, he's done in the past. But this character, Henry, is very serious. And like I said, some of the jokes that he makes, they're like scary. You're like, what is wrong with this guy? But the audience finds it funny. And like I said, they're singing, like I would say probably like 90% of this whole movie is singing. So that leads to my next point, which is how the emotion of this movie, the characters show, it's just like a roller coaster. It's crazy. We also meet and Driver's co-star, and I'm sorry again if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but it's Marion Cotillard, who plays Anne. And Anne is a famous opera singer who falls in love with Henry, and like very quickly they fall in love, they get married. She's actually a really great singer. She has this really beautiful operatic voice, and it had a very Phantom of the Opera feel at times to it. And one thing, though, I do respect her for doing is being able to act through song, which I personally felt like Adam came up short on. And in a way, though, I do feel like maybe his lack of singing and then like her angelic voice worked in a manner that it flowed well with the movie. There are some times I wished the song would be over, such as during this one song called Love You Very Much. It's like this, they just randomly start singing that. It's really cringy in my opinion. And it's like this F sharp key that is like the whole song, and I don't know. I wasn't vibing with it. But it, like I said, it was cringing, and their mismatched harmonies were like, oh my gosh. But when you are done with this movie, you stop and think these haunting harmonies almost of the two, it works with the overall mood of the film. And I wonder if that was the point, especially casting a big name such as Driver in a role that requires heavy acting, but he's not a singer. Now, he was on Broadway. He was on Broadway in 2019, but as an actor. Like, he didn't sing. It wasn't a musical. It was a play. So, he has sung before. If you guys have seen Marriage Story, he does have a bit where he does sing. But, like I said, I don't know if he's personally, like, a trained singer. So, the story. And honestly, I went on YouTube after watching this film, and I just wanted to see other reviewers' opinions on this movie, and everyone feels the same way I felt. What the hell did you just watch? Or what did I just watch? I sat here for maybe a straight, like, 5 minutes just, like, thinking about what happened in the movie, and I kind of concluded this, that Henry is very mentally delusional. Like, he loves Anne, but, and spoiler alert, he does some crazy crap in this movie. And that's portrayed in his comedic acts, where you think, at first you think he's joking, but he's not joking. Like, what he's actually telling the audience is what, like, he's feeling, or it's what he did. And, yeah. And then, him and Anne have a kid right off the bat, and that's Annette. And Annette is a puppet. So, immediately, I'm like, what is happening? And they're treating this puppet like any other baby. It's just, what? So, I'm thinking, like, is this like some delusional fantasy that Henry's having? I don't know. So, but anyway, so Anne dies, you know, she falls off a boat, but we all know Henry kills her. But this then turns into kind of like a haunting type of thing. Anne haunts Henry through Annette. And Annette inherits Anne's singing voice. Every time there's like a little tune playing or whatever, Annette will just like hum. Now, granted, Annette doesn't talk. We don't see her talk at all, but she does sing. So Henry capitalizes on his daughter and takes her out on like tour, and she becomes like world famous and all this weird stuff. Until it all comes crashing down, and we later find out that Anne had an affair with her, like, he's like a composer or her piano accompanist. And Annette is really his daughter. Henry freaks out and kills him, and Annette blabs to the audience that Henry is a bad person. And in the end, he's in jail, and Annette comes in to visit him, and golly gee, she turns into a human girl. Like Pinocchio. This is like some crazy, like, weird Pinocchio thing happening in this film. And I'm just really trying to piece together, like, is this all in Henry's mind? Is this just, I don't know. And please, if you have seen this movie, let me know what you think. And we can talk, because I still can't, and a lot of people can't conclude what they just watched. I mean, there's so many different things out there, but one thing everyone has in common, what? What is this? One thing I do want to say, though, the cinematography and just like the principle of photography, like, amazing. The visuals in this film are gorgeous. And that's actually probably the strongest point of this amongst Adam Driver's acting. Even though this movie is just weird as hell, anything that is thrown at Adam Driver, he can just do it. He can just put his heart and soul into a role. And I feel like he just had this, like, emotional roller coaster through this whole film. He was happy, he was in love, he was sad, he was depressed, he was a murderer. Like, Yeah, I mean, but Adam Driver was able to do it great. So his acting, and I did like Marion Catalord's acting as well. I loved her voice. Her voice is beautiful. So I really hope that she is in more like musicals, more Broadway, and love to see more of her in the future. Oh, and another thing, there is a lot of heavy sex in this movie. And it's weird. They have this like weird scene where they're singing and they're just really, and I'm just like, oh. I mean, it was weird, but yet, I actually watched an interview of Marion Catalord, and she was saying, like, it's part of the act. It's part of the script. You got to do it, and they did put whatever they could towards it. So, you got to give these actors credits for that. I mean, they did portray that really well. I felt like it could have been ridiculous looking. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, what I'm saying, but the way they did portray these two characters singing while doing it, I think it was well done between them. But like I said, like, judging from the beginning of this movie, or like if you walked in on somebody watching this movie, you would never know some of the heavy stuff there. Like, it felt like I was watching just an upbeat, like, Greatest Showman or something. So, yeah. Yeah, I really wanted to like this movie, and yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch it again. I don't know. Like, I thought about it, but then I'm like, I don't know. I didn't enjoy the music. I mean, what do you guys think? I don't, maybe too, there's just something I missed and it was obvious. I don't know. But anyway, this episode was a little short this week, but next week I actually have a surprise guest on here, and I'm very, very excited about it. So you don't want to miss next week. Should have this posted next Saturday morning, and I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you then. And make sure you guys give the social media pages a follow, because I will be posting some hints on there as well. And like I said, I will talk to you guys next week.